chapter 7, part 2, day 6. Gotta be honest with you, I could cry. I'm so happy. This is my final video. Coronavirus hit in the middle of the school year, so I finally wrapped around and got back to the beginning. So even though this seems like it's in the middle, it is the end. So anyway, hopefully coronavirus freaking finally got controlled and we're back to life as normal at some point. But as of right now, it is late December 2020, and it is still a complete disaster. Anyway, all right, so I just want to get that out there, that this is indeed the last math video I probably will ever make in my entire life, and I'm excited about it, so sorry. Anyway, so this is just a Chapter 7 review, and I would love it if you would pause as you go through and try and solve these things. So here's a proof. Go ahead and pause the video, see what you come up with, and then we'll see what happens. So angle J is congruent to angle N. So I will say that is true because that is given. I will say that L is the midpoint of JN, and that is given. And who cares if L is the middle of JN? Well, I think that that allows me to then say that JL is congruent to LN. And why can I say that? Because that is the definition of a midpoint. At this point, I will say the angle KLJ is congruent to angle N. Oh, I should probably put 2 there, because if I put 1, that assumes they're all the same, but they probably aren't the same. So anyways, KLJ will say NLM, and those are known as vertical angles. And then finally, I can say triangle JLK is congruent to triangle NLM. So the J and the N matches up, the L and the L matches up, and the K and the M matches up. And I would say that is true because of angle side angle congruence. So hopefully you're able to do that proof on your own. Next, we're supposed to annotate these. Well, what does it mean to annotate? That means you're supposed to put all the angle measures, all the parallel, equal distance, all that stuff. So what would a parallelogram look like? Well, I believe these opposite sides would be parallel. There's the definition of a parallelogram. But we also recognize a couple things. We were able to prove that these lengths were the same and that these lengths were the same. Not only that, but we know that these angles are the same and these angles are the same. So there's a lot to mark up a parallelogram. So just be aware that on the quiz you'll be given different shapes that you need to annotate in the same way. So trapezoids, we know that opposite sides are parallel. If it's isosceles trapezoid, we know that these are the same length, which means that the base angles have to be the same. And again, if you turn it upside down, these would be the base angles and those have to be the same. All right, in a class of 50 students, 18 are in choir, so we'll just sort of make our, oh boy, that looks amazing. So we'll say choir, yes, no, and we'll say band, yes, no. 50 students, so that's going to be 50 down there. 18 are in choir, doesn't say anything about band. 26 are in band, doesn't say anything about choir. 12 are in both. Again, I hope you guys are pausing these videos and solving these things as you go. So is being in choir and band mutually exclusive? It looks like a no, because some people are doing both, right? It would have to be 0 for it to be mutually exclusive. Are being in choir and band independent? So let's say, hey, let's do C over here. Are you in choir? How many people are in choir? We'll say 18 out of 50, which is 36%. And then we'll give you that you're in band and ask, are you in choir? So given that you're in band, how many are in choir? And we'll say it's 12 out of 26, which is going to be, you know, what, a little more than 24%. So I would say 46%. what did I say, 24? Yeah, a little bit less than half. I don't know what I said. Bottom line is these numbers are not the same. So we would say that there is an association. And if there is an association, we would say that they are... Oh, God, I always get backwards on these. Are being independent? No. Right? Because independent means there's no association. Here there is an association, so that means that they are dependent. Jeez Louise. Alright, so what's the probability of being in choir and in band? Well, that'd be 12 out of 50. That'd be 24%. What's the probability in choir but not in band? So you're in choir but not in band. In choir but not in band, 6 out of 50. So it'd be 12%. What's the probability of being choir or band? So we can add this up, 12 plus 6 plus 14. So it's going to be 32 out of 50 or 64%. Or what you could do is 18 plus 26 is 44 minus these 12 is 32, and 32 out of 50 is 64%. What's the probability of being in band given that they are in choir? Alright, so what's the probability of being in band given that they're in choir? So they're in choir, there's a 12 and 18 chance, or a 66% chance that they would be. And H, I'm just checking my answers as I go real quickly. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. So what's the probability of being in choir given that they are not in band? So they're not in band. There's a 6 in 24 chance, or a 25% chance. Let me pause real quick and make sure I got all these right. Pretty pleased with my answers. So moving along, new data set again. It'd be great if you guys pause these and check your work. Are having no opinion and being male independence. So let's see here, what's going on? So first of all, let's just say, hey everyone, do you have no opinion? Let's see. 25 out of 300 have no opinion. So 25 out of 300 gives me 8%. Now I'm going to say given male, what are the odds that you have no opinion? So given that you're male, what's the odds that you have no opinion? It's 10 out of 120. And 10 out of 120 is going to equal 8.33. So these are the same. So that means there is an association. And if there is an association, that means they are dependent. So I would say no, they are dependent. There isn't there's no association. Oh wait, yeah, that means independent. Holy criminy. I got a little bit screwed up here, so I'm sorry. So first of all, I'm going to say the numbers are the same, so there's no association. And if there's no association, that means that they are in fact independent. So yes, these are independent. All right, are agreeing and being female independent. So let's see. Hey everybody, do you agree? 140 out of 300. 140 out of 300 agree. So that's 46.6%. And now we're going to say, okay, given that you're a female, do you agree? And given that you're a female, there's a 60 out of 180. So that's 33%. So we would say that there is an association. And if there is an association, we would say that they are dependent. So I would say no, they're not independent. They are dependent, right? It matters if apparently a woman is less likely to agree. All right. And then finally, the last one, and then I end these videos for perpetuity. Make a two-way table. Again, you should pause this thing. So we have our double spin thing. We can get a 20, a 50, maybe I should go in order. I can get a 50, a 20, a 10, or a 5. It says the sum of the two spins must be a multiple of 15 to win. So this is not the game that we're used to. So hopefully you guys got that and you are pausing this video and figuring this out. We know that this happens, what is that, 1/8? This is 2/8 and this is 4/8. So we have our odds there, and we'll get the same thing, 1/8, 1/8, 2/8, and 4/8. All right, so this adds up to 100. So you have to get a multiple of 15 to win anyway. But so there's a 1 in 64 chance here, but that's a loser. 70 is a loser, and that's also a 1 in 64 chance. 60 is a winner, and there's a 2 in 64 chance, and a 55 has a 4 in 64 chance. So these odds would be the same here. So this would be 70 is 1 in 64, 60 is 2 in 64, and a 55 is a 4 in 64. I'm going to go back through and color code these so I know that like this is a winner and this is a winner. Those are the only winners so far. Next, this would be a 40, and that's going to be a 1 out of 64. This would be a 30, and that's a 2 out of 64, and that's a winner. So that's a 30, and that's a 2 out of 64. And then this is a 25, which is a loser, which is a 4 out of 64. 25 is a 4 out of 64. So again, I'll go through and circle the winners. These are multiples of 15. Next one is a 20 is a loser, and that's a 4 out of 64. Next one's a 15, so this one's a winner, and it is 8 out of 64. And that's 15, and that is also 8 out of 64. So these two are winners. And the last one obviously is a loser. 5 plus 5 is 10, and that happens 16 out of 64. All right, so we have our winners here, our whole table. So there's our two-way table. What's the probability of winning? 2, 4, 6, 8, 16, 24 out of 64. Given you won, what's the probability of $15? So I know I won. There's 24 ways of winning, and 16 of those 24 ways are with a 15. The other 8 ways are with the 30 or 60. And given that you won, what's the probability of a 60? Again, there's 24 ways of winning, and 4 of those are winning $64. So again, I will say I am done with math videos. It makes me happy. I hope that you find the world in a better place than it is right now with coronavirus, and be safe.